Sorry, I wasn't here to pick up. You might work with the microphone.
No, we already discussed it. Yeah, so when I talk.
Dames en heren, ik wil u heel graag voorstellen aan Bernadeta Astari. Zoals ik al verteld heb, ze komt uit Indonesië. Maar dat gaat ze zo allemaal zelf vertellen, denk ik. En nou, heel veel plezier. Have fun, enjoy.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Goedemiddag, dames en heren. Ik kan wel een beetje Nederlands praten, maar toch natuurlijk mijn eerste taal is Indonesisch en de tweede taal is Engels nog steeds. Maar ik ga verder in het Engels om te vertellen over mijn verhaal. Is that okay? I will mix though. That's like what people have here in Holland, right? After a while, after you stay here, you kind of mix the words between English, Dutch, Indonesian for me in my case. So you will hear some of another languages, I guess. Great. So let me introduce myself first. My name is Bernadeta Astari, and you can call me Deta. People call me Deta, and I came here 10 years ago in 2006 for my study, and I didn't expect that it will take me that long to still stay here and be here in Holland and working and making friends and making a life and also having a relationship with people. So I'm glad that I have this opportunity to share it with you. I'm working here as a soprano. I'm a singer. I like also to sing other kind of genre. I like to listen to a lot of different music. So actually, I like to be called more as Bernadeta Astari, the singer. So let me tell you about a little bit about my childhood. How did I hear? What was the first time? What was the first moment where I thought, music is nice, you know, music, it's really touched me through the heart, and it was because my parents came from a Catholic family background, and as you remember, when I was about 3 years old. 3.5, my mom brought me to a choir rehearsal in Indonesia, and that I still remember clearly how it sounds and how the harmonic and how the changes of all the colors of the music together, the tone, and I found it really fascinating. So that stayed in my mind and in my ear until right now. And that's also the time where I started to play piano as my first instrument, and it was like the whole encountering of music world for me, and it's kind of rare to see this. It's not happening that much before in that time, in 1990 that. A lot of people like classical music in Indonesia because it's not our culture. As you know, maybe Indonesian culture, the music, and there's a lot of gamelan music and also the dances, all this, different kind of background of different traditional languages, food, like almost region. Every region has its own food. Like, it's kind of amazing to see, to think about it. So it's very rich, and also Indonesia is the biggest Muslim country in the world. So when people ask me, well, how come did you choose classical music? And I said, well, yeah, I mean, I grew up in a Catholic family and in a church family, and I cannot deny that that contributes a lot to me, to how I am right now, and also the choice of career that I made later on. So I was so fascinated. I like music. I played a lot of piano, and then at the same time, my parents see that, okay, there is this talent in her that maybe needs to dig out. So I and my parents, we went together to this talent group in Jakarta, and I got even my first role there in a little operetta, and I was a sunflower. So that was my first role, and it was the operetta of Tambelina. So we did a lot of different stuff, operetta, also acting, also fashion show. We did all this stuff, and dancing, of course. I was taught also ballet, and aside of that, also traditional dances. So in the early age, maybe age 5 something, I was already in touch with performance art, let's say, and I just enjoy actually performing in front of people on stage. And even though I was just a sunflower at the time, I was even, just very simple thing, maybe only 5 minutes or something, but it feels rewarding already. So ever since I go on, I decided, okay, I like this. So I stayed there for a while, 5 years, I think, and really enhanced into acting and singing, but singing, not yet classical singing at the time. I was more into just a natural singing. As a kid, you just want to have fun, right? And just to let your voice to be heard. So at the time, I got even my first honorarium, as a as a kid, and I still remember it was the amount of 5,000 rupiah, which is in euro right now. It's like 0.05 something, So each of us, we got this tiny little book, very tiny little book with details of when you perform and how much do you get, and every month we can take it. It's like it's a saving for a little kid, and I was pretty happy about it, and I thought, wow, you can actually earn money from doing art. I mean, at that time, and so at the time I was performing quite regularly, just like in the mall. You have a lot of malls in Jakarta and in Indonesia actually, and they often organize events, Christmas, Ramadan, for example, that they invited people to sing and to celebrate. So the ceremony of Christmas, for example, it's totally different than here. It's like we celebrate it not as gigantic as in Europe. There's a Christmas market, that kind of stuff. No, but we celebrate it in the malls and also with family and with lots of food. And I still remember at the time, the first time I celebrate my Christmas with my family, it was just very simple Indonesian food there, but you enjoy each other's company, and the food is very important for Indonesians, I guess. Like without food, I don't think we can be, cheerful and still go with our life. It's just very essential at the time. And the funny thing is, because my dad came from a Muslim family, and my mom came from a very strong Catholic family. So I got actually the best of the both, because during Christmas I go to my mom's family, and then just celebrate there and singing as well. It was always part of the my mother's family. And then when during the Ramadan, you go to your father's family, and then you get totally different food. Like they have during Ramadan, they have a lot of like with santan, with this coconut milk, and with chicken, and also rendang. This is very typical, and also nastar. There's these cookies with ananas, pineapple in it. That's like the traditional Ramadan. But everybody can join, and I think the most beautiful thing to see is that two families are gathering together. So no matter what your background is, your religion is, so it's just you share in the same table. That's the thing. And people often think that in Indonesia, because it's the biggest Muslim country, they were like, oh, you're not afraid because you're not a Muslim. No, it's actually pretty moderate. And even in Jakarta, there is this area where this cathedral, the biggest cathedral in Indonesia, and it's right in front of the biggest mosque in Java. And then at 6 o'clock in the evening, they always have this prayer. They have 5 times prayer a day. So you can hear it. They're doing their prayer through the loudspeaker, but at the same time there was a mass going on as well. So it's beautiful. Like the other one is like Hallelujah, Hallelujah, and the other one's like it's very very amazing. Of course, after a while, if you're not used to it as well, it can be very annoying. But especially when it really plays right behind your house. So I had the two times experiences, I think, with that. But everything comes together in harmony. So that's a little bit the situation in Indonesia. Well, unfortunately now it's a little bit changing. Sorry, a little bit, but like the whole world, right? I mean, it's kind of shifting, and but we'll see what happens. And but Indonesia will be still Indonesia, and the people with food, as long as there's food and company, that will be always in harmony, I guess. I hope. So, okay, this is already 20 past almost. So, in Indonesia, I went to a school where there's a lot of Chinese people. There's also, this group of native Indonesian and Chinese people. And I went to a school in West Jakarta. And in West Jakarta, there's a lot of community of Chinese Indonesian people, and they're like 3rd generation, I think, of the Chinese who came to Indonesia for the trade. And then you can feel the difference of atmosphere as well. Like in the class, for example, you're very competitive. Like people are very they want to be the best. It's always like that, and maybe I was one of the minority there because I am half Chinese as well. Like, but you can see it. Like it's different. And also the riot in 1998 made it a bit worse because of the fall of Suharto at that time, and. And there's always been tension between native Indonesian and Chinese people. So at that time, I think the political situation made the advantage of it. So the Chinese Indonesian and the native Indonesian were really how'd say it, like they're being screwed over by people. So a lot of horrible things happen, and they loot things from the shops, and even the shops sometimes they write down, this is the shop for native Indonesian, so then they won't burn, this kind of stuff. So a lot of raping going on, and at the time I remember I was at school and suddenly it happened like that, bomb, a lot of shootings and stuff, and we weren't allowed to go home. And yeah, it went for maybe 2 days, 3 days, but yeah, after that they call it a reformation. So we get yeah, it was changing, but then I think Indonesia is still a young nation, so we need to still learn to how to be you know, to let your minds out, just what you want to say. So a bit more, you know, I think open and out what you want to say and what you want to tell to people, and to be who you are. So I guess yeah, that's a little bit of the situation at the time when I grew up, and but still everything was fine and was okay, and after that life goes on. And yeah, I guess also the Javanese culture at the time, also the native Indonesian people were used to just calm down and silence and never really allowed to say what they think. But at that time, in 1998, all the people go on the street and like, oh, okay, this is what I want to say, and yeah, that's the way it is. And now we have in Jakarta, for example, election for a governor, and it's quite a controversial one because there's one candidate. He's Chinese and he's Christian, and yeah, and he's also very direct, like to the core, and he hates corruption. He's really super strict about it, and young people was so inspired by him, and it became a big thing. And yeah, so this is the situation right now, that they want him to be a governor of Jakarta, because you can see already that he also did work for Jakarta before. He was the vice governor of Jokowi, which is now he's the president of Indonesia, and he looks a bit like Obama, you know, this kind of people for people, like real. There's a real contribution, really in touch to the society. So in Indonesia, there's a lot of things going on, but I guess this is the time of inspiration, I guess, for everybody there. And yeah, I'm very glad that it's happening right now. And yeah, and me, what can I do through music? So when I was 18, back to this story, I decided to move to Holland, because at the time my brother was already studying here. He's a jazz guitarist. He studied at Utrecht Conservatory at the time. So he said, why not just come and see how it feels. If not, then you're in Holland, you're already in Europe anyway. It's easy to travel around, you know, because from Indonesia to here is 13 hours non-stop flight. So it's very expensive, and it's you know, you waste actually quite a time. And then yeah, after that, I came to Europe and decided to reside here at the Utrecht Conservatory, and I met a really good, really nice, lovely teacher, and we were together for 6 years for my bachelor and master. So yeah, I mean, my story is actually maybe unlikely the one who from Syria or Lebanon. We are different anyway, but in this case, I feel I'm very grateful. I feel I've always been lucky with my journey, because my parents, Indonesian parents, always see a job as you know, earn money, and then you work 9 to 5, and then you build a house. You buy a house when you're 25, and then you're married. You go out from the house and you're married. And here, when you're 18, you're already out of the house, and you can basically do anything you want. And there, we basically are parasites when we are not married yet, because we just stay at home, you know. There is usually a maid, or your mother make your breakfast. or do your laundry. So it's kind of like a convenient life there to begin with. But then after that you need to realize that okay, I need to get out from the house, and then I get married. So it's not common at all to live together before you get married. It's like a taboo thing to do. It was a big step for me to come here, and luckily I got a trust from my parents. Okay, you do what you want, and they believe that with music you can share your experience and help people. They always say music will always be there, people will always need music, and we are sure that you can do something good with music. So this is what I basically try to apply in my music making, that it's not about only the music, but how the music can inspire people to inspire other people. So it's not just stop into this kind of, I'm here, I'm the performer and your audience, but how the audience see it and come with a smile or with another kind of drive to actually share the ideas to other people. And I think in this kind of situation, it's very important nowadays to really get real to the core, to the people, just talk to people. And there's one story, like 2 weeks ago. I was waiting for my train in Apeldoorn, and I was sitting there, and I started to sing my favorite song, which is Bridge Over Troubled Water by Simon Garfunkel. So, and then I was just there, and then came this girl, and then she came to me and with a fascinating face. What is it going on? What is going? Wow, you just go on singing. I'm like, are you sure? Yes. And then I go on singing, and then suddenly I heard she was sobbing. She was like crying, and I kept singing. I came to her, and I hugged her, and I still sang. I sang the piece through the way until I finished it. So, and then we were hugging there 5 minutes. It was so beautiful. Yeah, I mean, it's a stranger, So it was really beautiful, the power of togetherness and being, realize that, being there for each other is important. And then after that, after the song finished, I loosened up, and then she said, I just broke up with my boyfriend. So she was like, and she said like, wow, what a coincidence, and you're an angel. I came here, and then suddenly there's this voice. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So this kind of thing happening more and more with me. I don't know why, but I think as long as you get real and really really accept who you are with your own vulnerability as well, then it goes real. So I don't know. This is already out of my my script, but but I would like to share to you one of the things that I would like to do is contributing to people, like also through music, through talking, through just sharing your experience to strangers, and I think that's really important nowadays to save everybody, I guess. And there's this one song I wrote. Yes, this one song I wrote by myself. It was there's a relation with the culture of Indonesia. At the time, I was talking to my mom, maybe like 1 month ago. It was my birthday, I think 1 month ago. She said like, hey, you have a birthday, so I already say thank you to everybody who wished birthday for you. And I said, why you're wishing for me? I mean, why you're saying thank you? I am the one who's having birthday, and you know, it's like the culture of being nice. It's always been there, and the image of you have to be sweet, and you know, you cannot say no to people. That's also very Indonesian in a way. So you have to find another way of saying no, which is sometimes maybe, or later, or we'll see. You know, this kind of stuff. So this song is about this kindness. Being nice shouldn't be an obligation. Being nice is not a form of exaltation. What do you want from me? What you do want really from me? What you do want from yourself? Kindness, why it should be an obligation. Choice will make you warm kindness, as long as you make it a choice. So that was a little bit of my rant about my own culture, but yeah, and it's not often. This is the first time actually I ever wrote a song and then really collaborate and dare to perform it. I'm usually doing, you know, always being staged or being instructed to do this in the opera, or there's always a score, you know, where you can follow. You can of course reinterpret things and recreate things, but creating music for me is becoming an urge more and more, and it's it brings me another kind of joy. So there's also I was very inspired actually by Nick Drake. Any of you know him? Nick Drake, and he's such a great poet and great singer, but unfortunately he died when he was 27 because people say his skin was too few, so he didn't even get to perform to people because he was too shy and he was too afraid of sharing, you know, this moment together. And in this case, I feel so grateful that I have this ability and the opportunity to share my voice and my thoughts and my music through music. So there is one more song that we did together. This is Giulio from Italy, and he's a lead player. And he's also a big fan of Nick Drake, from your 12th or something, right? A long time, really. So, and me, I also love him, and I started to write poems since I was 15. So we were jamming 2 days ago, and yeah, we would like to share it with you.
You say you went away and drifting far away and flying your own way. They say the sky is blue, you say the sky is blue, he says the sky is high. You find a ball of care within a pile of hay in rusty chamber of its clay. You go and find a dream, replenish all the pain, remember every say. Find a ball of care within a pile of hay in rusty chamber of its clay. You go and find a dream, replenish all the pain, remember every say, every
Thank you. Can we do the last song? Well, for whom I'm curious how Indonesian language sounds, this is the last piece, and sorry that I'm run out of time, but yeah, this is Tanah Airku. It's a folk song, Indonesian folk song, and it says about, you know, it's my motherland, and wherever I go, you will be always in my heart. And even though I go to famous lands, countries, you'll always be the one for me that always close to my heart. So this is Tanah Airku, and thank you for listening to my stories, and let's help our friends out there by, you know, donating and keep it real. Thank you.
Tanah airku tidak kulupakan, kan terkenang selama hidupku. Biarpun saya pergi jauh, tidak akan hilang dari kalbu.
Bernadeta,
Yes.
heel erg bedankt voor je bijdrage.
Dankjewel.
Julia also?
Julio, ja.
De situatie is nu, ja sorry, bij het schema maken heb ik hier niets bij stilgestaan. Dat we de hele tijd nu als een soort van malle door dat gebouw lopen rennen. Maar dat is wel de praktijk waar we nu in het land zijn. Dus ik zou jullie willen aanmoedigen om vooral naar de zolder te gaan. Er zit Samar Shalani klaar om haar verhaal te vertellen. Ik moet u wel waarschuwen, ze is niet van huis uit de muzikant, maar ze doet allerlei dingen met muziek in Amsterdam-Noord. Ze komt uit Libanon en ze staat te popelen inderdaad ook weer om haar verhaal nu te vertellen op zolder. Dus daar gaan we weer verder.